Good afternoon to folks. As you are starting to come into the room, we appreciate you joining us. I'm Jim Laughlin with MDA Leadership for our webinar today on leveraging function leaders as a critical lever for recovery and growth. We know how incredibly busy you are as leaders as we're starting to come out of this pandemic, and there's such growth and opportunity everywhere and so much to pay attention to and figure out in this changed world. We really appreciate you taking the time out, stepping back from that flow of work and learning together with us. And so I want to have first Nancy and then Tim introduce themselves and also their wonderful organizations, which are doing really amazing work. So I'll start with you, Nancy.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy Catrix. I am the Vice President of Global Safety QA for Charles River Laboratories. Charles River Laboratories is a contract research organization, commonly you'll hear it referred to as a CRO, that provides products and services that helps our companies accelerate their research and drug development efforts. I've been with Charles River for 23 years now. I currently oversee multiple global cross-site QA teams, as well as being part of our global safety assessment leadership team, and had the honor to take this course back in March and am really pleased to be here. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Nancy. And Tim?
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Nancy. So I'm Tim O'Brien. I'm the Vice President of Regulatory Affairs for Ecolab North America. I've been with Ecolab for 13 years, and I've had a variety of different roles, including the honor of having a European assignment for several years. Ecolab is a global leader in cleaning and sanitizing chemistries. And we have obviously come through one of the more challenging times in our company history in supporting our customers who have faced any number of challenges around cleaning and sanitizing requirements in the face of the pandemic. With Nancy, we participated in the March leadership program, which was an exceptional experience. And I look forward to sharing our experience with you today.
MDA did a deep dive into what it takes to be an effective function leader. And suffice to say that thank God I didn't have to do this. We have some real strong IO psychologists and experts in assessment. A big kudos to Michael Hepperlin on our team, who's the Director of Talent Insights and Analytics for MDA, and several others who looked at the assessments that we had undertaken for the function level leader. And we do hundreds and hundreds of assessments at all levels of the pipeline every year. These are deep, comprehensive assessments, simulation-based, deep interviews, personality and cognitive instruments, and really seeing under pressure the performance of these individuals. So with some deep coding and a series of sessions to drive out what were the differentiators, 413 function leaders. The quick of it will be revealed in these 5 roles that we found when you really looked at the data, they needed to master to be their very best. We're going to highlight these, and I'm going to ask Nancy and Tim to highlight for them what are some that are really important in their day-to-day work. The 5 that came out of the research are here on the screen. They're the pivotal roles of function leaders. And by roles, we can almost say the different hats they put on as they execute various parts of their comprehensive and complex job. These are skills and capabilities, sometimes amalgams of them that enable them to get to certain critical outcomes and outputs of their work. There's the strategist piece, there's the results orchestrator. Of course, we're paid to get results, and yet increasingly it's orchestrating the results across bounds. Change leader, driving and implementing change. Internal influencer, again, working not only within their function, but across functions to unlock the value in the organization. And talent developer, not simply relying on HR, but deeply involved in assessing and developing the talent in their area. We will move through our highlights on on each of these, but first a little poll for you. Which of these we wonder are critical and perhaps are areas where your leaders struggle the most and yet need to be strong? I'd love to get just a kind of quick read from you on those 5 roles. We'll certainly do a deeper dive and definition of each, but on the surface, as you see those labels, which of the 5 do you think are ones that they might struggle the most with? And let's struggle. I'll ask the question of Nancy and Tim. Which 1 or 2 do you think, Nancy, are really, you find you're exercising really strongly in your work?
I tend to focus on the talent developer and the results driver roles, kind of both the people aspect and the business aspect approach. So looking forward to sharing a couple more details on some of those. I think all of them are very impactful, but ones that I think are very practical in today's world.
Got it. Yeah, we'll go one by one, and I'll stop and ask you to share a little bit more about talent developer and results driver or results orchestrator. Tim, how about you? Which of these?
Well, I think that as we noted previously, the pandemic has really forced us to think of things differently. And we're moving in, as you also noted, around the technology changes everywhere. And if we're going to compete in a dynamic marketplace, change is critical. And our organization can be somewhat static at times. So I'm really have been driving change in the organization, acceptance of the new realities. And that takes both change, a change of leader, and also internal influencer, because as we know, functions are not silos upon themselves, that we have to interact with other functions and other parts of the business.
But the best leaders, again and again, we're finding are the ones that are carving out that quiet space, often away from technology, to make sense of their own experience, to think longer term. I look around the corner, as they say, and to give themselves a way to refresh and come back stronger and better. So all these elements ought to be baked into the development of this critical function position. Briefly, Tim, anything here that's a key one for you, or was in your experience with MDA as in your development journey?
Well, I think this, for me, of course, the ongoing coaching with Lisa Gordon has been very effective. But during the FDLE program, the case study, the social learning experience that we had, where we had teams of people working together on a case of helping an organization change, was really so effective. Actually, many of those elements I brought with me, and I continue to use in terms of just understanding how you affect change in an organization. So I think that case study, social learning, was such an effective tool for me, and it's something I think would encourage everyone to participate in.
Yeah, and Nancy, 1 or 2 for you?
Sure. So I'll focus on the assessment and the reflection piece. The assessment process was just phenomenal, beyond anything I've experienced in the past. And what was nice about it is it gave me a robust developmental plan for myself, things to think about that I hadn't thought about before, with concrete, actionable items that I have taken and put forth in my day-to-day procedures. So, and that really ties into reflection, because a lot of what I learned from my assessments was I wasn't carving out that time for reflecting or strategic thinking, and it was more very go and very tactical. So have had the opportunity to build time in my schedule to do some of those reflection activities, which, as you said, it's sometimes you get this time and then you get there and you go, okay, now what do I do? But I figured it out, which is really cool. So it's they're both really great opportunities for me.
Appreciate that. I think, again, we got to keep working hard to find that space, the important step back, just as the folks in the audience. So again, kudos to you for doing just that, stepping back today to try to reflect and learn. Well, quite a map here, but we wanted to give our audience a sense of how those elements might come together in a strong, robust development experience. After doing the research on function leaders, it was a natural for us to think about, okay, how would we create a developmental experience that helped accelerate their growth. And you see here just one that we've developed and for several years have run. And so Nancy and Tim experienced this approximate 3-month journey this past spring. Now we were still in a full pandemic world. It was late winter when we started. And so this was fully virtually done. Some elements to point out, you'll see on the base here in green, this platform of strong coaching support and a social learning platform that allowed for asynchronous sharing, assignments, and collaboration. There are 6 circles here in the middle. The first and the last indicate the pre-work and the post-work that was carried on outside of the programmatic days. So we had 1 day each week for 4 straight weeks in which we focused on those 5 critical roles that we've been talking about. And again, in between the sessions, we were able to avail ourselves as a social learning platform, additional resources for learning, coaching sessions, growth groups in which groups of 3 meet and use one another as kind of consultant coaches. I know Tim's group has continued to meet for many, many months now and found great value in that. So these are some of those elements baked in, and in here is simulation, is reflection, is deep assessment and coaching and development planning all over the course of a journey, and the involvement of and alignment with the participants' managers, which we know is so vital to their success, and the tapping of what we call a growth network, people back at work who can be supportive of them. Well, I wanted to ask here again if there are 1 or 2 components that really stood out for Tim and Nancy. I guess perhaps you've touched on that already in noting the assessment piece, Nancy, or in noting that simulation around change. Tim, is there anything else that you'd want to point out?
Well, I would say, Jim, part of it for me is this is actually a continued journey, as you say, towards the close there, and the engagement with other participants, the continued engagement with other participants in the program has been very beneficial to me because it continues to reemphasize the areas in which I need growth and the ways that I can learn from others who have been in the program as to how we continue on this mission. So it's an ongoing and growth experience, in my opinion.
I loved hearing from you this morning that you had a meeting yesterday with your 2 growth partners from this journey, and that was 3 months ago that we ended. So you found the value in connecting with other leaders from other businesses that can help you continue to improve. So I love that. Nancy, for you?
Sure. So what I've found very unique about this experience, and it is truly an experience, is that, so many leadership courses, you show up, you have the course and you leave and off you go. But for this experience, the pre-work, the continued coaching afterwards, the platforms, some of the sessions that are provided, I mean, it's just an ongoing experience, which is what was really valuable for me, kind of similar to what Tim had said, and makes it much more sustainable. It's a great opportunity, great experience. I'm really grateful that I was able to participate in it.